In this video, we'll be exploring the collision model for AP Chemistry. This should be a pretty short and simple one, since a lot of this information has been covered in previous topics. When we say that molecules or atoms are reacting with one another to form new products, what does that actually mean? What's really going on? The central idea here is that molecules are colliding with one another, and through these collisions, they are breaking old bonds and forming new bonds. Let's say we have the following two atoms connected by a bond, and it's moving in this direction. Remember that any moving object is going to have kinetic energy, and that bonds are going to contain potential energy. The faster our molecule, the greater our kinetic energy, and the stronger our bond, the lower our potential energy. Now let's say that we've got a second molecule over here. If these two collide with sufficient force and the correct orientation, then the molecules will enter something known as a transition state. In this transition state, our old bonds are going to be partially broken and our new bonds are going to partially form, resulting in the creation of products from our initial reactants. So let's say that these molecules have collided and it was a sufficient amount of kinetic energy and the correct orientation. What we're going to be left with after that is our product. And so this is showing a successful collision between molecules. However, if our molecules do not combine with sufficient kinetic energy, then they're simply going to bounce off one another and no new product will form. They will remain as reactants. Of course, the full process is going to be much more complex than this, but the basic idea itself still stands. You need sufficient kinetic energy and correct orientation to form products. That's the only thing that's going to determine this. Make sure you know these two values. And once you know this, it's pretty easy to understand and predict how certain factors will influence our chemical reactions. I'm going to leave this chart here, but it's good to look at it on your own. And the main idea is if we increase our amount of collisions, or we increase the percent of successful collisions, we will increase the rate of our reaction. We will make our chemical reaction happen faster. And that's everything you need to know for the collision model in AP Chemistry. Like I said, not too complex. Just make sure you really remember that the only way bonds form is when our molecules collide with sufficient force and orientation. Thank you for watching.